Pat Muncy from the Kokomo Lantern, and I'm here with another episode of It's Your History Too, brought to you by the Howard County Historical Society. And today I have with me, once again, Randy Smith, curator at the Society, and we're going to talk about an interesting person or family in Howard County history. Tell me a little bit about the Broadlick family.
Well, I first learned about the Broadlick family in 2020. Someone sent us a token that said, good for one loaf of bread, Broadlick's Bakery, J.A. Jones, proprietor. That's all I had to go on. So I started researching it, and I found out that Harry Broadlick, who was in Kokomo with Broadlick's Bakery, came over in the 1880s from England with two brothers. One went to Logansport and started a bakery, one went to Delphi and started a bakery, and one, Harry, came to Kokomo and started a bakery. So obviously in England they were bakers, and they brought that skill to Indiana with them when they came in the late 1800s. To get back a little bit back to the token, as I'm researching it, I find that the name on it, J.A. Jones, was not associated with the Broadlick's Bakery here in Kokomo. I learned through research in newspapers that he was associated with the Broadlick's Bakery in Delphi, Indiana.
Okay.
He became the proprietor after that Broadlick sold that bakery. And so, consequently, I sent that coin, we forwarded that coin on with my research to the Carroll County Historical Society for their collection, since it didn't really belong to us.
But that's not the end of the story for you.
That's not the end of the story. That's just the end of the coin's story. It's now in Carroll County. So as I'm looking at this, I'm wondering, well, where was he at in Kokomo? Where was Broadlick's Bakery in Kokomo? Well, his first appearance was in the 1894 City Directory at the corner of Jefferson and Washington Streets. We have a picture of what that bakery looked like, and there'll be a better one during this podcast, but this is what I've got for now. This was a picture of the store as it appeared on the corner of Jefferson and Washington sometime between 1894 and roughly 1905.
And do we believe this was the southeast corner?
Yes, it was. It was the southeast corner, and I do think part of that Broadlick's Bakery may still exist there. If you drive by that corner, and it's behind Three Amigos.
Three Amigos Mexican restaurant.
To the west side of Three Amigos, between Three Amigos and Washington, there's two brick buildings there that are small in stature. I believe one of those may have been the oven that he used to make his bread.
Those buildings have gotten quite a workout because they've been a lot of things since the bakery. I'm not sure what they are now.
I certainly don't know either.
But you'll remember this little tiny building. I think it was a car shop for a little while, auto shop. Who knows what else? But strange how those things develop. But the Broadlicks didn't stay at that corner.
No, they sure didn't. According to the 1905 City Directory, by that time, he had become the proprietor of Sterling Bakery, which was located at 20 East Walnut under the old addressing system of Kokomo. Different story. Today, it would be what we call on the 100 block of East Walnut.
Okay.
That's before this 20 East is before the current block numbering system came into effect in 1907, 1908.
Okay.
So he was there, but only for a short while. In 1910, he shows up at the corner of Main and Superior Street, according to the bakery part of the city directories, and he was there for about 6 or 7 years.
So this is where the Excel Center is today, or is it on the other side of Main? Is it the proposed convention center hotel?
It would be the southeast corner of Main and Superior.
So the proposed location of the hotel and convention center.
I believe so. That I'm just anxiously awaiting.
Oh, yes.
Anyway, enough about that. Or I could go on. Okay, I'll stop.
That's a little bit of history itself.
I'll stop now. So he was there for a number of years until he got to his final location of 215 West Sycamore. And he built a bakery, and the building is still there today. It's the Howard County
Community Foundation.
Thank you for that. And the building, if you look at it above the doors, it says Broadlick. But that was his final location from he shows up first in the city directory 1918-1919, and the last appearance as Broadlick's Bakery was 1932. So he was there for 13 years. but and he still has a descendant who lives here in town. Our current executive director lives in Harry Broadlick's old house. She may want to tell you a thing or two about it. I don't know, but she wanted me to make sure I mentioned that.
Oh, well, there you go.
So I did.
It stayed in the historical family.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, and when we had this picture that I just showed you up on our Facebook page, Harry Broadlick's descendant actually made a couple of comments on it that made me feel pretty good.
Oh, good. Are we talking about Rusty Broadlick then?
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
So Rusty worked at Eric Chevrolet for quite a while. He worked with my father, actually, at Eric Chevrolet, which was kind of cool. So I've got a little bit of a connection with the Broadlick family. But so after 1932, they're out of the bakery business in Kokomo?
As far as I can tell, I didn't follow it past that. Gotcha. I just followed it up until they got out of the bakery business because that's the part I wanted to know.
Sure. And do we know if the other two brothers outlasted Harry?
Well, I do know that the brother who was in Logansport ended up building a bakery, a Broadlick's bakery in Indianapolis.
Oh, well,
at some time after Logansport. I don't know the exact years, but it was something I encountered in my research when we got to Token. Because the guy who donated it said he did some searches online and came up with Broadlick's Bakery in Kokomo. And that's good enough. Sure. Because I found out the story of this coin and we got it to the right place.
And that's kind of how curators here at the museum work with artifacts and information that come into them. Is you trust and verify? Is that
that's what we try to do anyway. Occasionally we'll get in something we just can't make heads or tails of. Oftentimes old pictures.
Oh, sure.
We have troubles with. We got a drop off. Sorry, I'm veering off course here.
Nah, it's all history.
But we got a donation. We call it a backdoor drop off because literally it was dropped off at the back door. They left it. Some great pictures of students outside of their schools from the early 1900s. But no writing on these pictures to indicate what the schools were, what year the pictures were taken, but you can generally tell from how they were dressed the approximate time.
Right.
And unfortunately, this person didn't even think enough of those pictures to stay and tell us what they knew about them. No. So I spent the better part of a day looking at these pictures and comparing them with known pictures of schools of that time, trying to match up brick patterns and window styles and things like this. And just drew a blank. And unfortunately, because we have no information about these pictures, it's not something we keep in our collection. Sure. We just don't have room for it if we don't know about it.
So really, the more information that the donor can provide, the easier it is to get it into the collection and eventually possibly on display.
And that's one reason we did not keep this this token that the man sent us, because it's not our story. It's Carroll County's story.
Sure. Now, I'm hoping that there might be some people out there that still have some stories about Broadlick Bakery, passed down from a mother or a father or grandmother, grandfather, off chance that you might have been around in 1932 and actually had some Broadlick Bakery product yourself. If you did, hey, let us know. But more importantly, bakeries were a big part of downtown Kokomo all throughout its history in the 20th century. Is that
back at this time that he was in business, preservatives didn't exist. So you bought your bread fresh every couple of days, and you had to have a place to go buy it.
And so I can remember talking to retired police officers who would talk about having to walk the downtown beat, and they loved the first shift because they would be walking through downtown and the entire downtown smelled like a bakery because there were 3 or 4 of them that were active in a 9-block area. And he said it was one of the best jobs he ever had. I don't have any memory of that by the time I'm running around in Kokomo. Those bakeries are long gone, but I'm betting that some of you went to those bakeries as well. So if you've got a story about one of the bakeries that was in downtown, a memory that's close to you that you'd like to share, get a hold of us. For right now, you're going to email that to kokomolantern@gmail.com, or you can get a hold of the Howard County Historical Society, give them a call, look at their website, get a hold of them, and share your story. We'll bring it on air and talk about it in a future episode. So for now, thanks for watching. This is Your History Too.